Have you ever taken a close look at a $1 bill? Not just glanced at it, but really studied it. Because hidden in plain sight is one of the most mysterious and debated symbols in modern history. An all-seeing eye floating above an unfinished pyramid. It looks ancient, powerful, and honestly, a little unsettling. So the question is, why is that symbol there? Is it just decoration, or does it mean something deeper? Today, we're going to break down the real story behind the eye on the $1 bill and separate fact from conspiracy. First, let's talk about what you're actually looking at. That symbol is officially called the Eye of Providence. It shows an eye, usually surrounded by rays of light watching from above. Beneath it sits a pyramid with 13 levels. And yes, every detail here matters. And the pyramid isn't complete. The top is missing. Floating above it, the eye seems to observe everything below. Around it, there are Latin phrases Annuit Coeptis and Novus Ordo Seclorum. Translated, they roughly mean he approves our undertakings and a new order of the ages. Already, that sounds pretty intense. Now here's where things get interesting. A lot of people immediately connect this symbol to secret societies, especially the Illuminati. The idea is that a hidden group of powerful elites controls the world, and they've left their mark right there on the dollar bill. It sounds like something out of a movie, but millions of people genuinely believe it. The eye watching everything, the unfinished pyramid representing control or dominance. It all feels too symbolic to be random. But is there any truth to that? To understand the real meaning, we need to go back to the late 1700s, the founding of the United States. The symbol didn't just appear randomly. It comes from something called the Great Seal of the United States. In 1776, the same year America declared independence, a committee was formed to design an official seal that would represent the new nation. This wasn't done overnight. In fact, it took 6 years and multiple redesigns before the final version was approved in 1782. The Eye of Providence was a symbol that already existed long before America. It had been used in Christian art for centuries. Back then, it represented the Eye of God, a divine presence watching over humanity. The triangle around the eye symbolized the Holy Trinity. So when the designers included it in the Great Seal, they weren't thinking about secret societies or global control. They were expressing a belief that a higher power was guiding and protecting the nation. Now let's talk about the pyramid. Why a pyramid? Why not something more American like an eagle or a flag? Well, the pyramid was chosen for a very specific reason. It represents strength and durability. Think about it. Pyramids have stood for thousands of years. They don't crumble easily. So the message here was simple. The United States was meant to be strong, stable, and built to last. The 13 steps of the pyramid represent the original 13 colonies. And the unfinished top? That symbolizes that the country was still growing, still evolving. It wasn't complete yet, and in many ways, it still isn't. When you combine the pyramid and the eye, the meaning becomes clearer. The idea is that the nation is a work in progress, built on a strong foundation and guided by a higher power. That's the official explanation. But of course, that hasn't stopped people from questioning it. One of the biggest reasons this symbol fuels conspiracy theories is because of how it looks. Let's be honest, an eye floating above a pyramid does feel mysterious. It doesn't look like something you'd expect on everyday currency. And then there's the timing. The symbol didn't actually appear on the $1 bill until 1935, over 150 years after the Great Seal was created. That gap raises questions. Why wait so long to include it? What changed? In 1935, during the presidency of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the design of the dollar bill was updated. That's when the reverse side of the Great Seal, including the eye and pyramid, was added. Interestingly, Roosevelt had connections to Freemasonry, another group often linked to secret symbolism. Some people believe this wasn't a coincidence. They argue that powerful individuals used this opportunity to embed hidden messages into the currency. But again, there's no solid evidence proving that theory. Historians generally agree that the addition was more about national identity and symbolism than secret agendas. The Great Seal had always been an important emblem of the United States, and adding it to the dollar bill made sense from a design and patriotic perspective. Still, the symbolism itself is powerful enough to keep the theories alive. The phrase Novus Ordo Seclorum, for example, is often misunderstood. Many people translate it as New World Order, which sounds like something out of a conspiracy documentary. But the actual meaning is closer to a new era, or a new order of the ages. It was meant to celebrate the beginning of a new nation, not the creation of a secret global government. Another detail people point to is the number 13. It appears everywhere on the dollar bill. 13 steps on the pyramid, 13 stars above the eagle, 13 stripes on the shield. Some see this as a hidden code, but in reality, it simply represents the original 13 colonies. It's repeated throughout the design as a reminder of the country's origins. So why do these conspiracy theories persist? Because humans are naturally drawn to mystery. When we see symbols we don't fully understand, we start connecting dots. We look for patterns, hidden meanings, secret messages. And when something as everyday as money carries such unusual imagery, it becomes the perfect subject for speculation. There's also the influence of pop culture. Movies, books, and social media have amplified these ideas. The Illuminati, secret societies, hidden elites, they've become part of modern storytelling. And the dollar bill with its eye and pyramid fits perfectly into that narrative. It's visual proof, at least on the surface, that something deeper might be going on. But here's the reality. Not everything mysterious is a conspiracy. Sometimes symbols are exactly what they appear to be, representations of beliefs, values, and history. The Eye of Providence wasn't created to control or intimidate. It was meant to inspire, to suggest that the nation was under divine guidance, that its journey had purpose and direction. At the same time, it's completely fair to question things. Healthy skepticism is important. Just because there's an official explanation doesn't mean you have to accept it blindly. But it's also important to separate curiosity from assumption. The line between asking questions and jumping to conclusions can be thin. So the next time you hold a $1 bill, take a moment to really look at it. Notice the details, the symbols, the phrases. Think about the history behind it. A group of founders trying to represent a new nation, choosing imagery that would stand the test of time. Whether you see it as a symbol of faith, strength, or something more mysterious, one thing is certain. It's not just random design. It's a piece of storytelling, printed, circulated, and used every single day without most people ever thinking twice about it. And maybe that's what makes it so fascinating. The fact that something so ordinary can carry so much meaning, so much debate, so much mystery. Because at the end of the day, the eye on the dollar bill isn't just watching over a pyramid, it's watching over an idea of a nation still being built, still evolving, still unfinished. And whether you believe it's guided by history, by people, or by something greater, that's up to you.